This is a V-mount as you get it out of the box, and it's pretty much ready to go. But I always like to take a couple of minutes and work a little bit on it, file the edges. Well, let's work here. I always like to give that kind of once over to all my parts. And a little TLC that goes a long way later on during the exploitation. And I'll do the same thing with the pivot points, with those little anchors here, as you may see. I can round that off nicely. There's plenty of material, so you can work that to your liking. If somebody is a little bit more paranoid, may leave a little bit more material, but I like to thin those out. They're plenty big. And same with the wire. Wire is too long, so you may trim that. I'm measuring my just by eye. Pretty much, maybe this much will be all I need. And I work my way around gently without snapping in one motion. And when I'm, oh, there you go. That was easy. Yeah, same here. A little bit extra wire. I think that's gonna be enough. Oops, there it is. Okay. And once over. Later I'm gonna drill a hole here using a piece of my steel push rod so it matches perfectly, or you may want to do a notch for the pull line or whatever the control system you're using on your tail. Yay, that's nice and square and straight. I like that. Next thing I do is I try to dry fit that on a boom. As you may see, the V-mount doesn't match the radius of the boom perfectly, and that's well intended, and I show you why. If you had too much open V, you would have a problem with squeezing it on a boom and securing with the glue, and that V would always want it to pop out, open up again, and sprang out from the boom. So that's why the V is smaller, so it holds the boom securely. Now the fitting process looks like this. I use a lighter simply and heat up the bottom portion a little bit and let it open gently. Try to fit it on a boom. It will open up nicely, and as you may see now, it fits perfectly. Next, what I do is I get rid of the shine on the inside of the V. Simply using or a piece of sandpaper on a piece of pipe, and just simply I'm removing the shine from the inside and leave a nice glowing surface area. This piece was already worked, so it fits on the boom really snugly in its own place. And also what I did is I filed off the edges here on the bottom of the V, so they're less sticking out from the contour of the boom, to help the aerodynamic guts a little bit here. Aside of that, it's ready to go. Okay, let me square off everything again. I'll tape the plane in place. I measure exactly halfway through the stub and I mark a couple of dots so I know exactly where that center line is. I got 5/8 and I got 5/8. That's quite enough for me. Piece of tape. I'm gonna measure 5/8 for the pivot point position. I'll do also same from this side. Put the V on. I'm gonna mark that V position nicely on the boom. All we gotta do now is sand off this piece of boom, put a drop of CA and glue all together. Lift the boom gently. You're gonna have a great adhesion here. It's regular CA glue. Put a good dab on the inside and spread it around a little bit. That's about it. Right on the mark. And doesn't hurt to check. You can see that the V-mount position is aligned with the spots on the stub. You can see them, it's right here. Okay. I'll let that tuck for a moment and come back later on and finish up here, but just on top of the boom with little touch of CA and wipe off the excess. I don't want to glue the side. What you want to make sure is that the anchors are sitting at the same level and flat on the both sides. Just a little bit scrubbing of the on the sanding block to make them level. Yeah, I like that. Squeeze that gently and mark my anchor positions right here and here. And that basically should be enough for me to locate those points. There we go. We're gonna finish this slot just like that by eye. It's good enough. Take that. Oh, I cut it to the spar, but that's okay because the hard point's gonna tie it back. I just want to make sure that the hard point is solid. You don't want to be skimpy here. Okay, that's it. Okay, here's the line. Let's finish this up. Here is the magic tool that I use for opening up the hard point space in the foam. So I heat up the tip. It's red, that's way too hot, but let it cool off a little bit. Stick it inside and wiggle it around and remove the foam. What I do inside is I do that kind of motion. Go around and scoop up the foam from the bottom skin and then come back and scoop up from the top skin and make sure there is plenty of space. One time won't be enough. So I have to heat up my paper clip again and do the damage. I'm not skimpy on those hard points. They need to be hefty and hold the stub nicely. Of course, I mean hefty in a tail scale. So strong but as light as possible. For me, that kind of bend and this size of a hard point, as I'm drawing right now, is sufficient. It holds just fine. Perfect. Well, that's done. Okay. Next time will be time to use epoxy and put those inside and finish up our fin